I'm getting shot in the back.
In the window. Down one. Controlling the recoil on Warzone 2 can be difficult, but luckily for you guys, I have a few different setups that make it really easy. So to start this video off, what I'm doing is I'm going to show you guys the weapon, the class setup, and the weapon tunes for each one. And then we're going to take these into a private match and shoot them against the wall just so you guys can see how easy the recoil pattern is to control. So now before we jump into the first gun, the class setup, and the tunes and stuff like that, just in case you guys don't have certain attachments, I'm gonna give you guys like backup ones that you can use. So starting off, let's talk about the optic really quick. So with this optic, I prefer this on all of my long range guns. It has a smaller magnification, so it looks like you have less visual recoil. If you guys wanted a bigger sight picture or a more magnified sight picture, you can use the VOK, the Slogger, or even the Force Tac. They all work really well. But no matter what sight you guys pick, just be sure to use this weapon tune right here for each sight. And now moving on from that, with the Commando foregrip, I know a lot of guys don't have this yet, but if you don't have it, I have a pretty good secondary option. It'll be the phase 3 grip right here, and the weapon tune will still be the same thing. Copy this exact tune for that underbarrel if you use that one. But now just understand that the Commando foregrip is the better underbarrel to run, but the phase 3 is the next best one. So moving on from that, we have the muzzle. So just understand that this one is the best one that you can run, but the next one I'm showing you guys is the next best thing. Just copy the weapon tuning as well. The next best one, if you don't have this one, would be the Cronin OP44. And before we actually move on to the next weapon, let me show you guys rear grip weapon tuning. So just copy this exactly if you want to use the HCR. So next up, what we have is the RPK. Surprisingly, for an AK platform, this literally does not move that much. This build is going to be similar to the one I just showed you for the HCR since they're both LMGs. So once again, copy this build and the weapon tunes, and let's move on to the next one. Next one, we have the TAC 56. This is like overall the best AR in the game right now. This one hits hard and it doesn't have that much recoil to it. But now there's one thing that you guys can change up if you wanted to. You can go with the 40 round mag instead of the 60 for a little bit more ADS speed. Me personally, I just like having more bullets in my gun. So moving on from the TAC 56, what we have is the Lockman 5.56. Now this is one of the easiest guns to use in the game. Once again, with this gun, you have the option to change the 40 round mag to the 60. If you want to do that, you can change the optic. Pretty much up to you, but I would say keep the other 3 attachments the same and the weapon tunes. And now lastly, we have the easiest gun to control in the game. I mean, it's pretty obvious. In Warzone 1, it didn't move, and in this game, it doesn't move either. So we have the M13. But with this build right here, I'm not giving you guys the option to change anything on here. Use the optic, use the 60 round mag. Just trust me, you'll need it. So now let's jump into a private match. Let's shoot a wall. Let me show you guys the recoil patterns. All right, so we're gonna shoot a wall at 15 meters without me controlling the recoil, and we're just gonna take a look at, you know, what it looks like. And also keep in mind that these are some of the best recoil patterns in the game right now. Warzone 2, the recoil is ridiculous on most of these guns, but you see this one is pretty much vertical recoil, and the shot placements are pretty much grouped together, so it's going to be that much easier to control. Next up, we have the RPK. Now, obviously, I'm not going to shoot the whole 75 round drum. We're going to go down to like 40 or 30 maybe. This one has a little bit less vertical recoil, but it does have a little bit more horizontal. I mean, just barely. But once again, the shot placements are closely grouped together, which is a good thing. All right, next up, we have the TAC 56. This is what I said was one of the best ARs in the game. So this one has pretty much vertical, and then it does veer off after what, like 30 bullets. But once again, this is super easy to manage. The next up, what we have right here is a Lockman 5.56. This one is what I said was like one of the easier guns to control. And you guys see it right here. Like, it doesn't get that much easier. All right, and lastly, we have the M13. This is what I think is the easiest gun to use in the game. Like, I've been using this gun non-stop since it came out, and I just like it that much better than everything else I showed you guys so far. But this one does have a lot of like vertical recoil, but vertical recoil really isn't that big of a deal because all you have to do is just pull down on the analog stick. Like, it's literally a laser at that point if you just pull down on the analog stick when you start shooting. So recoil wise, if I had to rate these 1 through 5, it'll pretty much be how you see it right here. I would say M13, the Lockman 5.56, TAC 5.6, RPK, and then the HCR. So if you guys found this video helpful in any way, just make sure you guys drop me a like, share this video with a buddy if they're struggling with class setups or what guns to use, and also subscribe so you don't miss content like this in the future.